everybody, and welcome to our live stream right here on the Movie Couple channel. That is a completely different intro than I normally do. You're watching Movie Couple Live, where we talk about the latest in movie news and pop culture. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And we've got a lot going on today's show. It's going to be a light, casual, fun one. Can't wait to chat with you guys. We're talking about, oh no, I didn't put it down. I'll just go. It's starting great. We're going to talk about Snake Eyes, the trailer, the images, the interview with Henry Golding. We're talking about Dear Evan Hansen, the trailer. We're talking about Dune, the release schedule. Is it this or is it that? We don't know. We're going to find out more. And the Darksaber, now available at Galaxy's Edge.
Ooh, you want to get me one of them Darksabers?
I don't know why I just did that. Darksabers don't make that sound.
I was actually surprised that you didn't go like...
Is that the sound that the Darksaber makes, though?
It's a little bit more high-pitched,
it's like
I think.
It's more like...
Here we are trying to make different sounds for a fictitious sword.
On today's live stream, we're two nerdy couples try to figure out what the Darksaber sounds like without having the Darksaber.
But first and foremost, you might recognize our fashionable shirts that both Wendy and I are wearing. Hello there. And these are brought to you courtesy of one of our movie bunch, Blade GTR. Thank you so much. These are awesome. We geeked out over these when we opened up the package yesterday, and we're like, "Oh my god, these are so cool!"
Yeah.
And what website are these from?
Turtle.
T-Turtle. That's what it is. And they've had a lot of really cute stuff. Yeah. I have to admit, we're not sponsored. We're just big fans of their awesome products.
Thank you so much, Blade, for sending these over to us. They are perfect. The fit is perfect. I squealed when I unboxed it because I think it's...
She was like, Mandalorian Ahsoka.
Yeah, I don't have any merch that's based on Mandalorian Ahsoka. And I like that it's like, it is Mandalorian time era Ahsoka, but not Rosario Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Nothing against Rosario Ahsoka. I just prefer Ahsoka. And I'm gonna definitely watch the Ahsoka live action series. Like, I'm obsessed with her character and her storyline and where we could potentially go with this. But I think my heart lies with the animated version of Ahsoka. So any sort of like chibi type art style, that's all. I'm all about that style of Ahsoka. I'm gonna go ahead and mute us real quick and check our audio on the YouTubes.
Oh, really?
Because MK is saying that our audio seems a little flat, so we're gonna go ahead and check it out real quick.
That is very weird.
You guys, let us know how it sounds now. I bumped up the audio just a little bit on our end, a little bit more here, so it still seems really low.
I think it sounds a little bit better.
How's that?
I don't know.
Is that better? Is that better? You guys let us know now that we're back and we're not.
Sounds good.
Let us lip read. Yeah. Debbie says good. Let us know how it is now, because I don't want to refresh the stream because then it's lower. What is going on? We haven't had this problem in a long time.
Navi, have you been messing with the audio
Navi's
again?
Been messing with the audio. Okay, what about now? Are we better? Are we worse? Better, worse. Better, worse.
It sounds, I think for right now it sounds good, and then we can tackle the problem
next time. Oh, it sounds better now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave it as it is. And if we have a problem with it, just let us know in the chat. Because we always appreciate your input, and we want to make sure the streaming experience and everything is good for you guys as well.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's why we put all of this extra money into the equipment.
Speaking of equipment, we almost had a little fire start in the apartment this morning. So
oh my gosh,
we were setting up our lights, and sometimes we have a little bit of a tight area because it is an apartment setting. So I tripped over something, including the wire for one of our lights, and I was like, oh no. So I just went and just plugged it back in without thinking about it when it turned it on. And so to be fair, that one light, the plug, it's been a little weird. Like, you have to kind of put the cable in a certain way. So that should have told me a long time ago that like I shouldn't really force it to bend a certain way so the light works, so like the power flows through. But I mean, these light kits are 6 years old, 7 years old.
Because we got them when we got married as a wedding present. So
yeah.
And it was actually really bad because I plugged it in. I was like, I wonder if I have to just, and then it went tss, tss, and I actually saw the spark and the wire started to melt.
He
and
saw
like,
it. I didn't see it. I just saw the pss, and then he was like, oh my God. And he went over, unplugged it. And then we looked at the wire. And
it had melted.
It had melted. You could start to smell that like cable electrical burn.
Electrical fire, yeah.
That rubber burning smell. So we tossed it in the trash. So we're on my last. I still have 2 light setups.
Yes.
Like this. But that's like the last plug. So I just got to go on the internet and buy more. But maybe, I don't know, eventually we can upgrade to a softbox.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best thing to do. That's going to be the next purchase that we are making towards our channel.
I don't think they're that expensive nowadays. I think a long time ago, lighting kits were, like home lighting kits were a bit expensive. But I think nowadays it's a little bit less expensive.
Yeah, now you can get a pretty good deal on a light box that actually works decently.
Exactly. Well, you guys, as you know, we always put a little bit of announcements up on top of the show. So what we have going on is The Quiet Place 2 is coming out in about a week. It's coming out the 28th. But Cinemark is doing something really special where they're doing an early screening. So you can actually book a ticket for the showing at Cinemark with a live Q&A with writer-director and actor John Krasinski. So when you go onto the website, you can go ahead and click on the link that is in the description of this video, and that'll take you to a Cinemark so you can pick the one that's closest to you. When you are picking the showtime, make sure you're picking the showtime that is on the 27th, and make sure that it does include a Q&A with John Krasinski. Otherwise, you're just going to sit through a regular movie without
the
John Krasinski, which is what, like, if you're seeing it early plus Q&A with the director, you want to make sure that you are getting the right one. And then also know that if when you book it, know that the live Q&A, it is going to be live. John Krasinski will be at the location in Playa Vista. So if you really want to go and like witness that live, like see him in person, I mean, I don't think it's a meet and greet, it's just a Q&A. But if you want that, that's the Playa Vista location. All the other locations will have the Q&A streamed live. So it is coordinated. It is not pre-recorded. So you're going to get that. It's just be streamed everywhere else to the Cinemark location. And again, you can go ahead and click on the link in the description below. You can also book your own Quiet Place 2 watch party for, I think it's like $149 up to 20 people.
Which I think is an awesome deal.
That actually, yeah, because concession and parking and all that aside, right? Mm-hmm. It equals out to about like $750 USD per person, which it's still lower than like a full price ticket. Yeah. And you get the whole theater to yourself.
And you can have like everyone super social distance and be like, hey, we have the whole theater to ourselves.
Exactly. So there's one of the announcements for that. Other announcements, we do have a trailer reactions up for the Loki clip that is introducing Agent Mobius. We have the clip reaction to Black Widow. You Got a Plan. Dear Evan Hansen, that came out yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit more on the show. That trailer is out now for you to watch. And before we go any further, let's go ahead and take some super chats because I saw them pop up.
Super chats.
And I don't want to miss them. First one comes from Marvin Martin.
Thank you
so much for the support. $5 going straight to the like it.
And one thing that I love about Marvin's tag is that he has a new Marvin Martian on there.
I like this one with the big
time. And I appreciate it, man. I think that's awesome that you just have so many of them and they all look so cute.
Yeah,
this one looks so cute.
This one's awesome. Marvin just like, hello. Marvin writes, YouTube's Only the Strong with Mark DeCasco, HBO Max's Gris, and author John, whose last name I'm not even going to try to pronounce because I can't. What is this show?
Only the Strong. So
with Mark, it's not a cooking show. That sounds like maybe like a martial artsy type of a reality show.
Hey, you know what? Any recommendations on cool shows, I'm always a game for, because there's so much material out there nowadays that it's impossible to be able to keep track of it all, kind of a thing. So anytime someone's like, oh my gosh, check this out, I just saw it, it's definitely worth the time and the energy of watching it.
Yes.
I'm always loving more and more references.
Yeah. And I feel like people mostly know him either from his appearance in John Wick 3 or Iron Chef, where he starts the beginning is "Allez, cuisine," and then like in the credits he'll like backflip, and like instead of biting into, because his uncle introed like the traditional Japanese Iron Chef, and his uncle bit into something, and so when he turned around, because he's the nephew, he like bit into a different fruit. I don't remember, because he like holds one up and he's like, ah.
It's kind of like the let's get ready to rumble, and it is time.
Because you can't use
the same one.
It doesn't sound the same if it's not from the same person. And then HBO says Gris. Gris. What's that about?
I don't know. Listen, I think Marvin just put something into the chat that's kind of...
Okay. Gris, it's like warrior, but in Indonesia. Sold. Sold. You had me at like warrior. Sold. And then he says Marvin says like Dangerous Minds, but with capoeira. Oh. Ooh, interesting intrigue. We got a bit of a. You've
got our interest peak tickling.
Yeah.
Interest is tingling.
My interest is tingling. That sounds awesome. Thank you so much for your awesome recommendations, Marvin. That is awesome. He also put I lost it. There we go. Next super chat comes from Chris Mendez, our Chris's Choice Spider-Bot battle coming soon.
Oh yeah.
Chris writes, the most evil villains ever have united, bent on ruling the universe. Thanos, Darkseid, Voldemort, Palpatine, and Sauron. Ooh, in physical form. Ooh, scary. Ooh. What team of 5 do you choose to save us? Ooh.
Oh, okay. So we need 5 superheroes.
You guys, please go ahead and assemble your team in the chat or the comment section below. Great question, Chris. Wow.
This is tough. I mean, I guess you can always just pick, go with the, what is it called? The hero thwart to each one of these villains. So Darkseid, you'll get Superman. Voldemort would either be like Harry Potter or Dumbledore. Palpatine, you'll have Luke Skywalker. Or I guess you could have Anakin Skywalker, but then you might be afraid of him joining.
Yeah, I wouldn't need to turn to the dark side on you. You have to like get Anakin like Clone Wars era, so he doesn't turn.
The big stumpers though are Thanos and Sauron, because I don't think you want to put 2 hobbits.
Just one giant eye. What's Sauron's physical form?
It was
one
at the very no.
Oh
it was
wait, that's right.
Where he got the ring actually cut off.
That's right. I was thinking as like one giant eye in physical form, like staring at you, like.
Well, there was also like the mouth of Sauron that they had in the deleted scenes.
Don't hit things with a bunch of mouths.
So yeah, I mean, for these villains, honestly, would it be advantageous to, because to try to go on against them head to head, power up against power, would be very difficult, because Darkseid, it's always been like a team that has fought the villain. So Thanos has always had the Avengers, Darkseid has always had the Justice League, Voldemort has had Harry Potter and the rest of his group,
right?
Kind of a thing. So do you want to go on against them head to head, or try to find some way to get them to fight themselves?
Have you answered the question?
Exactly? No. I'm kind of talking while I'm thinking of...
You're talking out loud?
The team, yeah.
Do you want me to go first while you think?
Oh, do you already know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
All right, team of 5. I am picking Gandalf the White. I'm picking Superman. I'm picking Doctor Strange.
Oh.
I'm picking Luke Skywalker, and I am picking. Do I want to go Miss Marvel or Wonder Woman? I'm picking.
That's actually a good one. Go with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I think Wonder Woman. That's my 5.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
That's my team.
And yeah, you've got a lot of power hitters in there. And I'm trying to think of, do I want to try to put some espionage people in there?
Batman?
Kind of like Batman, because you need someone who is a good strategist. And you kind of have to have Superman, because in all of comic books, he is the biggest hitter. So I was thinking like Batman, Superman, Dr. Manhattan.
Ooh.
Because you need someone that is...
I mean, do you even need more team members if you already
have
Dr. Manhattan?
True. I mean, and he would be able to manipulate energy in multiple ways. So he could go up against Thanos. He could go up against Voldemort because he can I don't know if he would be able to manipulate magic. That's actually a really good question. But so I'm going to go Batman, Superman, Dr. Manhattan, someone else. You probably need some other good. You know what? I like Gandalf. I was either thinking Gandalf or what's his name? Dumbledore. So you can have a magic person in there.
How did I get more room on my side? I tried so hard
I'll just get to be a little closer to you.
But we're trying to do this thing where we cheat in the middle, towards the middle.
I'll go with your struggle, the opposite side of your struggle choice. I'll go with Captain Marvel.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Because you've got a few powerhouses and you do have a few brain people. So you do. I mean, fortunately, Dr. Manhattan. Well, as in like people who aren't known for their brawn.
I understood what you meant. I just thought that was an interesting description.
So who do we have in the chat? Some recommendations.
I'm trying to get you to cheat towards the middle, which is why I position art. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
It's throwing me off. All right. In the chat, let's see what they're saying. And also, Marvin writes regarding Sauron, if Morgoth made the ring instead.
Oh.
What happened? Also chaos in a brand new movie. That's what we would get. 100%. Get a whole new movie. Amber Nail, I like your answer. Ash, Pikachu, Misty, Brock, and Professor Oak.
I choose you.
I choose you. Ooh.
Daniel just looks at Pikachu that pops out and he's just like, split.
Yeah. Let's see. Black Monolala writes the Hulk, Batman, Superman, Doctor Strange, Luke Skywalker. Jack writes Obi-Wan, Scarlet Witch, Wonder Woman, Hermione, and Magic.
Scarlet Witch. That would have also been a really good choice.
Yeah. But you don't do you think she'd be persuaded to join the Dark? Well, she wouldn't join Thanos.
She wouldn't join Thanos.
She'd kill him.
And I think, I don't think she would join any of them. None of them are that persuasive. You know, and the thing is, I think you could get Thanos and Darkseid to fight amongst each other. Yeah. Because they, all of these bad guys have that will, like that dominate. I want to dominate. I want to be in charge. I want to rule the galaxy kind of thing, especially with Darkseid, Thanos, and Voldemort. I think, and all of them, technically, I think you really could get them to fight amongst each other to then weaken them and then bring in your five. Kind of a thing, because they don't trust each other. There's no way.
Well, then who are you going to put in there to do the espionage part of having them turn against each other?
Then you would definitely need Batman in there, and Black Widow.
Get that job done.
That would be a good, have a good combination of Batman and Black Widow.
I think they wouldn't. If Batman walked in there, they'd be like, yeah, no.
Because if you're able to fool a god of mischief, kind of a thing, to spill the beans, like she did in Avengers. Yeah. You might have a pretty good chance on doing some espionage. And especially if you can get like Black Widow to be able to shapeshift a little bit more, she could go into like the orc camps and get them to fight amongst each other.
There you go. A couple more inputs from you guys. Movie Bunch Debbie writes Captain Marvel, Superman, Scarlet Witch, Luke Skywalker, and Gandalf. Solid team. Solid team.
Star Drew. Wolverine would be good to track the Terra. I'm sorry, what is that at the very bottom?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't know what to do. But honestly,
I thought you knew because you were saying it with such confidence before.
Well, because I saw Wolverine. And I'm like, Wolverine would be a good addition to this. Because also, Wolverine can't really be killed.
I mean, he can, but it would take a lot.
It takes a lot.
It takes a lot. You know, neither one of us picked Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Deadpool,
I think, would be a little bit too much of a loose cannon.
Talk them to death.
Yeah, exactly. Thanos would just be constantly like, shut up!
Why this one won't shut its mouth? Why?
I've smashed it 5 times.
That's its superpower. That's it. Oh my gosh, how funny. You guys, before we move on to a couple of the other things, we do want to talk about Snake Eyes and Henry Golding. You guys probably saw already on the channel. We had the incredible opportunity to speak with Henry Golding about his upcoming film Snake Eyes, where he's playing the title hero, exploring the Snake Eye origins a little bit and kind of the initiatives that they're taking to change up the origin, and also him working with not just director Robert Schwenke and also the creator Larry Hama. So let's go ahead and have you guys take a look at just a small part of the interview.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Henry. How are you?
What's up?
So great to meet you. First of all, congratulations on this movie. So you've had so many successes in films such as Crazy Rich Asians, The Gentleman, so many to name. And we can imagine scripts are coming left and right to you. So what was it about, besides the fact that G.I. Joe is a huge property, a very well-known property, what was it about this story that drew you to play Snake Eyes?
It literally was the fact that we were able to start from right at the beginning, where we're refreshing the entire franchise. We're starting over, and what better way to start with one of the most iconic characters and starting at his origin, finding out who that man is behind the mask, what turned him into the lethal weapon, the warrior that he is. And at the end of the day, he's like you and me. We have faults, we have our motivations, we have these challenges that we have to overcome within us. And I think it's important, before we get invested in character, we set that basis of like, who is this person? Why is he doing what he's doing? And how did he become who he is? And so that was just far too sort of undeniable of me to sort of like reject, and it got me so interested. And after meeting with Robert Schwenke, the director, his vision was fantastic, and he's such a cinemaphile that I knew he would bring this fabric that we all crave now, and that's somewhat of a sense of reality, you know, where we're so used to these world beyond worlds and these crazy kind of green screen fight sequences, but we wanted to bring it back to its roots and make it a real sort of martial arts movie.
Well, there you guys, you have it. That's just a small portion of the interview. You can watch the full interview, and I believe I dropped the link in the description below for you guys to check that out. But I really appreciate, one, the opportunities to speak with him, and two, kind of getting a little bit more insight on this movie in particular, because they're calling it Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. And one of our questions, by the way, that first question did come from our own movie bunch, Debbie, where I posted in Discord that we would be talking to Henry Golding. And if you guys had any questions about him playing Snake Eyes, if you had one, let us know. We could try to put it in the interview. And we thought it was a great kickoff point for the whole interview. So thank you so much to Debbie for your contribution. But I love that interview because it not just kind of let us understand that why, as we all saw the trailer, you know, he's got his face showing, he is speaking, and people are already losing their minds, like, why? He doesn't speak. It's like, well, yes, he doesn't speak, but he hasn't always not spoken.
Yeah.
There's a reason why.
In the comic books, it was, or in the shows too, it was the fact that he took a vow of silence.
And in the comics, I think it's because of the helicopter accident that disfigured his face and damaged his vocal cord.
Maybe.
That I've read both.
So, I mean, it makes sense that this is before that. And also, they could retcon it. Since Snake Eyes is one of the most popular characters in G.I. Joe, it makes sense to be able to go, hey, you know what? Let's make him give him a little bit more to do. Say that he might have taken a vow of silence, but after a certain point of working with the Joes, he figures that these are more my family now. So I feel like I can talk around them, kind of a thing. Most of the time, he stays silent. So,
but this one is definitely exploring his origin, and like to the point where whether he takes a vow of silence or has the accident, however they're going to go with it. What's making me feel a little bit more comfortable with them taking a different approach to his origin is that Larry Hama, the creator of G.I. Joe and like the comic book writer and artist, is, I believe, an executive producer, or is very hands-on, like he's on set and stuff like that. So I think since they have him on their side and him helping guide this movie, I feel like, you know, it's it's maybe a different origin than what we already know, but I think it's still going to fit into the whatever G.I. Joe universe that they're going to create.
Yeah, and if you watch the whole interview, I believe Henry Golding does say there was like, when they had the creator there, they were like, okay, what can we do? What do you feel comfortable with us changing? What can we change but still keep the core of Snake Eyes' character solid and intact? And it's great to have the creator there say, you know what, you can tweak this here, but leave this. This is what you really need to keep at the same. But these things you can tweak and change. So I'm really excited that they have that. It makes me more excited and hopeful that this is going to be a solid, awesome movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think as far as stunts go, it's going to be ninja, like that katana battle heavy sequences. That from what I've seen in the trailer, I'm liking the action. Also the cast, like they have Andrew Koji in there playing Storm Shadow, and that is an automatic win for me. You guys know how big of a fan, how obsessed I am with Warrior. I'm so excited for season 3. I'm
so cool.
Probably gonna watch the whole both season already, front to back all over again. So I'm looking forward to
from beginning to end. Yeah,
looking for you.
And we'll join. I will watch it again together.
Watch it again. I have no complaints. Watch it 5 more times. Before we move on to our next topic, let's go ahead and get to a couple of you guys' super chats.
Super chats.
This one from Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you so much. $10 going towards Like It. Did you hear the recent news that HBO Max and Cartoon Network are developing new animated series for Batman and Superman? Ooh. The Batman show will have Bruce, Tim, and Matt Reeves, as producers. Excited. I am very excited for this news. And I also saw, speaking on the Batman DC Universe, Batgirl type of a thing, MK dropped it earlier. Oh no, I can't find it. Yes. Okay. So he said that the Hollywood Reporter has reported this news. The directors for Bad Boys for Life, I'm going to totally butcher their names, Adil El-Arbi and Bilal Falal, definitely messing it up. But look, if you saw Bad Boys, if you enjoyed it, like those are the guys responsible for the action-packed movie. They are, according to the Hollywood Reporter, directing a Batgirl movie being planned for an HBO Max release. So like a total step in the right direction there.
Anytime that we get more Batman, more Superman material, I'm always excited to see it because you just can't really get enough of these characters sometimes when they're done correctly. And the more and more that they do them, the more and more chances you have of just something legendary being created. And especially the fact that it's HBO and Cartoon Network.
Yeah, we love all the DC animated stuff. I think they do them so well. If you haven't watched, what are some of the ones that we really like? Flashpoint Paradox. If you haven't watched it, that's a must. Teen Titans.
They've had a couple. They've had like the Teen Titans versus Justice League. They had Teen Titans and the something deal, not the contract. A lot of them are just really good. The one that I'm dying to see is the Justice League Dark one. Oh shoot, no, it was Apocalypse War, and it is brutal.
It's probably up on HBO. We could probably just watch it, huh?
To where what happens, like if Darkseid won, kind of a thing, and actually just completely annihilated the Justice League, and how do they rebuild and try to have a victory over Darkseid after the big hitters are all gone?
Yeah,
kind of a thing. So who would rise to the top? The Judas contract. Thank you.
There you go. Justin, thank you so much for letting us know about this. This sounds really exciting. And also to have Bruce Timm and Matt Reeves as producers is great because we know Matt Reeves is directing the Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson. So we're excited. We actually rewatched that trailer this morning because and I think the internet's kind of going crazy about like the leaked photo of the Riddler or the Zodiac Killer. And I was like, wait, but this image, I feel like we've seen it before. So we rewatched the trailer and he's like literally one of the first shots after you hear the duct tape.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe I'm missing something. Look, if there's a leaked photo, the movie comes out, next year?
Yeah, it's still kind of a far away.
I guess I could take a look if that wasn't the right photo that I'm thinking of, but I mean,
it even looked like it was the exact same photo where it shows him pulling the duct tape.
Right.
In the, and I was like, I kind of compared them. I'm like, these aren't the same.
Maybe we're missing something there, but either way, looking forward to now this animated series as well as Matt Reeves' Batman, the live action movie. Super chat from Marvin Martin. Thank you so much, Marvin.
Thank you.
Marvin writes, regarding Snake Eyes, we want flawed heroes, but why do you think purely evil like Sauron, Big Brother, Harkonnen, am I saying that right? Are so believable and appealing?
Well, it's also, you can understand that motivation. That's a very common motivation of what these characters normally want. They want to just be in charge. They want to be the dominant power. They want to be, I want to rule the world kind of thing. There's still something, even though it is a trope that has been done millions of times, you can still do it in an interesting way. You can still do it in a way that still draws in your characters. I mean, draws in your audience.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. I mean, still, I love character villains too, where you can sympathize with their cause. You can understand their cause, kind of a thing. Those are usually some of the best villains, but that does not mean that you can't have characters that are like purely evil, not be fun to watch.
Sorry, I was just scrolling through the chat here, and what MK wrote kind of caught my eyes. Andrew Koji, hype train. Crazy that if not for Warrior, the role, he was on the verge of quitting acting. What? He's so good. This man should have been cast a long time ago in 50 million things. I mean, but you know what? The time was right. It worked out. He didn't quit. He pushed forward. He landed the role, and now he's gonna go on to be a star.
Yeah.
Or he already was a
star. He is a star
now. But yeah, I agree with you regarding pure evils. I think it's also interesting to kind of just see them believe so much through and through their cause and like their purpose and why they're doing this. And like, they're not really villains in their mind, right? Like they're like this. No, this is what I think about. Like Thanos.
Yeah.
Is a great example. Like he really saw nothing wrong with snapping away half the population. He's like, well, no, I am saving. This is for the greater good. And it's like, well, the way you're going about it is actually kind of sickening, but he believed it so much that this is the only way. He didn't see any other ways.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of interesting to see the villain go full, like, bad to the point of no return. Like, they are committed.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's also a little intriguing, which is why I think that's the appeal there. And then before we move on to the next topic, I just want to talk to Noah real quick about Hotel Transylvania Transformania trailer. I don't think we're going to be doing a trailer reaction to that because I am not completely, I know of the franchise, but I'm not a hardcore follower of it. So if you were to ask me questions about it, I really couldn't tell you much other than I think Selena Gomez is in it.
Yeah, and also...
Which is terrible. Like, I think it's a very successful franchise. I think there's a huge fan base for it. That's why they're making a fourth one. But we, unfortunately... saw the first one, liked it, but then like just didn't really catch on to the other ones, and that's why. So it's not like it's bad or we don't like it. It just didn't happen to like hook us in like some of the other movies.
Yeah, when you have to like pick and choose from the ocean filled of media out there and different stuff, some things are going to get like left or still floating there without you being able to check it out. There's so much around us.
Yeah. And that is why. So hopefully that answers your questions. I see you in the chat there. Super chat here from Justin before we go on to our next topic. Thank you so much, Justin. Justin writes, are you planning on watching the animated MODOK show on Hulu this weekend? Looks very funny, and it's the last show made in the old Jeff Loeb Marvel TV era before Disney Plus, which I have a soft spot for. I'm gonna watch. I don't know as much about MODOK as like some of the other people, but I'm gonna watch it for Schnepp. Schnepp loved the MODOK.
Mechanic organism designed only for killing. I believe that's
the acronym?
I think that's the acronym for MODOK.
Amazing.
And I love the fact that they are turning this into a comedic stop motion kind of animation kind of thing.
So, right?
And I love they're kind of taking like the very tongue in cheek, because MODOK is one of those kind of ridiculous villains, but it is so intriguing. And I only know like maybe the surface amount of information about MODOK, but the way that they are presenting this material is like, this looks hilarious. And I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah. So if it comes out this weekend, well, Dustin works on the weekends now. So maybe when he comes home and we're having like late lunch or early dinner, depending. A dinner. We can already plop down and watch a couple of episodes before we dive into our Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder games on the weekends. But thank you for the reminder. We actually had forgotten that MODOK was coming out because there's 50 million things. So yeah, we definitely want to give it a watch, and so I can learn a little bit more about MODOK, because I think there's huge fan base.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's an old property too. Like, it's been around a long time.
MODOK's been around for a while. And,
yeah.
and plus also it has to deal with a group of villains that we really haven't seen very much of, which is AIM. You know, Advanced Idea Mechanics. I believe that's what they're just really into acronyms.
All the acronyms.
So I would love to see them a little bit more. I would love for them to be introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if they do introduce AIM into I think they might have mentioned it a little bit in Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
No, Iron Man 3. It was Iron Man 3. That it was.
Right. Is that the one with?
Yeah, because the second one was with Whiplash.
Yeah, I do this because he did this on the trailer. Sorry, I'm not making fun of it. It's just the motion that I happen to remember.
So I would love to see them introduce, and if this goes very well, if it has a huge fan base and they all come out to see MODOK, in a sense, I think they'll put him and AIM into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Slowly but surely, it's going to trickle in, I feel like.
Sooner or later, I think we're going to get every single inch of Marvel content somehow related, somehow into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Whoever thought that we would possibly get a MODOK live action movie?
Finally, right? It's been around forever.
There's so many things now that are out there that we would have never thought we would get, you know?
But we are getting now. And then, sorry, I have one more thing on the list, because I said I promised him I would talk about it. But Movie Bunch Adam, which many of you know. Oh no, what did I do? I just screwed that up. There we go. Movie Bunch Adam is co-hosting Digicon, and that is like a con that's, you know, encompassing in, like, there's anime, there's I think tabletop games, there's panels, there's, I want to say, guest speakers, but it's like all digital, hence Digicon. So if you guys want to check it out, it's all like being held on Discord, and Adam is co-hosting a couple of things. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link to so you can have more information about Digicon in the comments below. If you want to look them up on Instagram, because they have like a lot of like threads and like slides that you can kind of scroll past to get a better idea on Digicon. It is at DIGIC, the number 0, N, Digicon. So Movie Bunch Adam is there, I think, through this weekend, doing all of that. So make sure you go ahead and give it, just check it out and see if it's anything to your liking. Should we talk about Dear Evan Hansen?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's talk about this trailer.
If we want to cry a little bit, yeah, we should talk about this.
Okay, so Dear Evan Hansen has been on Broadway for a long time. I believe Ben Platt, who you see in the trailer in the movie playing Evan Hansen, was the original Broadway cast who played Evan Hansen. So he's reprising his role. And I did see on the internet, like, people are a little like mad because at this point he won a Tony for this, but at this point he's a bit older.
So he doesn't quite fit into the high school.
You can kind of see it, like in the there's some parts where I don't think about it when I watch the trailer, and then there's some parts where I was like, oh, like, especially if you put him up against next to another actor who is physically younger, that you can kind of see the difference. But by the same token, I kind of do love seeing the original cast.
Yes.
You know, reprise their role for the movie. Also, I think his dad is Mark Platt is also the executive producer on it, so that kind of all makes sense. This trailer made me, if you saw the trailer reaction, made me boohoo. I don't know if it made you boohoo.
I had to really, I was like really holding it in. I wanted to, throughout this entire trailer, just be like, oh my God, and just cry because it hit so many heartstrings.
Yeah.
And the music in the background, the way they did each scene, the way it is going to be an emotional roller coaster for so many people.
I'm very curious to see how certain scenes and certain songs are going to translate to the screen. But I want to say the writer who wrote the book, I guess, for the Broadway show, is also did the screenwriting for the movie. Which, if that is the case, then it should translate pretty well because it's from the same brain. It was funny to see, the opening of like him opening the laptop and he starts to type the letter to himself. But the trailer played it a lot more dramatic than the stage, where there's little comedic moments in there because it's staged. So I wonder how many of those little moments are going to get in the movie as opposed to like maybe that plays out better, in a live theater setting. So very curious about that. But probably also going to pick up the soundtrack for the movie because I'm guessing do we know if Julianne Moore sings?
I don't know.
Her character has songs in the Broadway show, so I wonder if she probably does. Like, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
It's one of those things. Yeah, there's so many actors out there. You think, oh, they're just an actor, but then you find out, oh no, they can dance, they can sing, they do their own stunts. And it's just amazing to find out what secret talents some of these movie stars have. Yeah,
so the trailer definitely made me boohoo. I am sad that I never got to see this in theaters, like live theater, because people were getting a little confused when I said, "Oh, I'm so sad I didn't see this in theaters." They're like, "Wait, it's out in theaters?" I'm like, "Oh, theater like actual theater." Live
on
theater.
Stage
in a playhouse, not in movie theater. I guess I should really have made that distinguishment, but. Regardless, I really am looking forward to seeing this movie when it comes out, and I will be going into the film with zero eye makeup and lots of Kleenex, so I can boohoo and also like stop all my tears.
That actually could be kind of funny to be outside of the exits of the theaters and just keep a running tally of how many people have like red eyes and like red noses just because they're crying throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, exactly. Before we go on to our main topics today, we want to talk a little bit about theme parks. So Disneyland Paris is it's the last Disney theme park that has remained closed during the pandemic, and they are finally set to reopen on June 17th. And I assume that they're going to follow very similar protocols as all the other theme parks. As the opera, you start on a lower capacity, limited capacity, ticket, probably reservation based, kind of like how we do it here. And then as cases, depending on how cases go, they'll either keep it capped at this percentage or they'll start to slowly increase, just like Disneyland is doing starting, I believe, today. So far they've been operating at about like a 25% capacity, 28%, something like that. And they are now, because now we're in the yellow tier, which is great news. We are going to see Disneyland increase their capacity up by 40%, which means now their actual capacity is 35% in the park, which is still
pretty low.
And I remember seeing on TikTok, and people show up early because you want to be the first in the park, you want to try to get on Rise of the Resistance and try to use that app to get in or whatever. So you have to line up for temperature checks and stuff like that before the park opens. They're not going to let you in, and everybody has to wait like 6 feet apart in their little pods or whatever. And somebody out on the TikTok was like, this doesn't look like 25%. And I actually looked at the line. One, it was socially distanced, and two, I don't know if this person thought 25% meant like 25 groups. So let's just say what do you think the full capacity of Disneyland is?
Oh, I don't know. That's actually a really good question.
Because I believe
it has to be in at least 40,000. I think it's probably more than that. I would not be surprised. I definitely want to look up and see what is the max capacity of Disneyland.
50,000.
50,000.
According to the disinsider.com. Not sure how accurate this is.
So half of that, 50%, would be 25,000.
That's way more than Universal. Universal was, I think, 23 to 25,000 for full capacity.
Oh.
But it's also
a little bit smaller,
right? And
so it would make sense that Disneyland.
That's why I said 40,000, but
that was actually a pretty good guess.
So 50,000. Let's do a quick math and see what 35% of 50,000 is.
Well, 50% would be 25,000. Half of that again to get 25%.
75,000. My math. I don't know how to say numbers. 17,500.
That's still a lot of people.
That's still a lot of people, but it's also still,
especially if you have all of them crammed into the wheel, Main Street, and then the front gate. That's if I mean.
Oh wait,
you have everyone's,
did I do it wrong?
Is it flipped?
Hold on.
The opposite end of that?
What's my math? Okay, I take this number, I time it by 0.35 for the percentage. Do I minus that number now to the 50?
Anyone else who's really good at math out there?
I think it's 17.
Around that actually makes sense because 25% have that for of 50. Yeah, it's around that number. Thank you. 12,500.
Oh, see, my math was wrong. So don't forget.
Because 5,000 would be 10. Yeah, okay. Because 5,000 would be 10%.
Oh, duh. Look, math is not my strongest suit.
Yeah, so 30%.
Even with the calculator, I can't get it right. So that's really a very low number. That's a really low number, especially with shops open, rides open, other, off areas open, and you can't go in a big group of like 10 people. Like you have to go in like just your immediate household. So it could be at the max, I think maybe 6 people, in one group. So I don't feel like it's gonna be super crowded by the time we go in June. I don't think it'll feel that crowded. Maybe in certain areas, especially if we go into Avengers Campus, because it's new and people want to go like straight to it. But other than that, I think as things get back to normal, people are still, like whether kids have gone back to school, gone back to work or whatever, and we're going on a weekday, we're not going to see it at its 35% full capacity either. I think we'll still see a little bit under that. So, but that is the news on the increased capacity.
And also one interesting point that Ruru2 M put down is also don't forget about the staff. So technically, I do believe that what is it called? The capacity is only it does only count guests. Because I know where I work, anytime that we talk about capacity, that we're at capacity, we're talking about capacity for guests. I don't think they take into consideration the number of employees that are there. So you still have the 17.5 thousand guests plus all of the employees that are there.
Yeah. So it's obviously we knew that the capacity was going to increase as things come back to normal, and as long as cases and everything like that stays low, I can see us moving slowly towards the the tier where we go back to almost normal. I mean, we're still, as we see things going back to normal, we're still in a pandemic. Like, let's not forget that. So still keep washing your hands and don't touch your face when you're in public. And
wear a mask.
Keep using and if you want to, wear your mask, especially in grocery stores, in like more confined spaces. I think if you're vaccinated and you're taking your dog out for a walk just on the sidewalk, you're open air, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
But if it makes you more comfortable to wear a mask, like I actually like wearing it at night because my face gets cold. I get cold very easily. And I've gotten so used to like having a mask on my face, be like, oh, I'm so much warmer. So there is that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our main topic here. And let's talk about Knives Out 2. At this point, who is not in Knives Out 2?
Exactly. There's so many new stars that they're putting in there. Some amazing talent. Amazing talent.
Yeah. So we are adding Leslie Odom Jr. to the cast of Knives Out 2. Daniel Craig. He's going to be joining Daniel Craig, Dave Bautista, Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, Joel Monet, and who knows who else. In fact, Ryan Johnson just recently followed Florence Pugh on Twitter.
Ooh,
could that be the next addition to the cast? Possibly. Could he just be following her because he's a big fan of her work? Also possible. I don't want to read too much into it, but I'm just saying it's like every other day we get a new casting announcement for Knives Out 2. It really wouldn't surprise me if she joined, and I would 100% love to see her in this movie. And of course, right now, we don't know anything. We don't know who is playing who. which side are they, on the investigating team? Are they the murder suspect or whatever it may be? We don't know, but this cast just looks like a great fun. And I guess we can finally say that Leslie Odom Jr. will now finally be in the room where it happens, which is the pun I've been thinking about since last night. I was like, I got to work that in somewhere. I'm so sorry for the way I am.
We love you for it.
Oh, thanks. Also, going back to a previous topic real quick, because I totally skip it. Since we're on the Disneyland topic there, you can now get the Darksaber at Darkondar's Den of Antiquities. And there's actually two versions. So there's the Galaxy's Edge Disney version, and then there's the Hasbro version. The Disney one comes with obviously the full Darksaber. The blade is removable, comes with a stand, has, the lights up, makes the sounds, all that stuff, the standard stuff. Your standard lightsaber stuff. Looks really cool, but Hasbro also has one. So while the Disney one is priced at almost $200, $199.99, the Hasbro one is at $249. Basically the same features. It lights up, the blade's removable, has a stand. Maybe there's something else that comes with it. So Dustin and I compared photos last night to kind of see what's the difference between the two, because we think the Darksaber looks so cool when we saw it in live action. Yeah, we're not going to try to do that again. But when we saw it in the Mandalorian light up, we're like, oh, because previously we've only seen it in animation form. Mm-hmm. Comparing the two photos, just photos alone without holding it or anything like that, I'm actually leaning more towards the Hasbro one.
It does look a little bit more, I'll say it looks a little less toy plasticky. The Disneyland one, I haven't seen them in person yet, but from the pictures, the Disneyland one, looked a little bit more toy plasticky, and the Hasbro one looked a little bit more solid, looked a little bit more metal-like. So just from the pictures, I would have to lean, with you, more towards the Hasbro one.
And it's kind of the way I'm feeling about the Ahsoka Tano Clone Wars era lightsaber, too. I know we don't get the two, we just get the one, and the blade changes color. But just the look of it overall, and I think also if you feel like you want to do a pretend battle with it, I think that one, if you want to clash it against another lightsaber blade, I feel like the Hasbro one's a little bit stronger than the Disney one. Saying this because we own a few of the ones.
We own a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, we own a whole bunch, and I feel like the previous Force Effects ones are stronger than the Galaxy's Edge one. Not saying the Galaxy's Edge doesn't look great. It really does. Like, I love the Fulcrum Ahsoka ones, but just kind of thinking about that. And then moving into our last topic, let's talk about Dune. Whoops. There we go. Let's talk about Dune. So I saw a couple of different reports on Dune. As you know, this is coming soon. I think 2021.
It should be, definitely should be this year, because it was supposed to come out last year. And we've been dying to see this. But just like so many things, that release date has been moved. Okay, no, this is what we're going to stick with. No, we're moving it. And then they have now given us a new one.
Yeah, so it's not really a new release date. It's the release format. So what's interesting is that this is they're releasing under, I think the studio is, Warner Brothers. And we all know that Warner Brothers made a deal with HBO Max where new titles this year and this year only, they're releasing films day and date to both in theaters and on the HBO Max streaming platform. However, it'll only last the month on HBO Max, and then you can watch the rest in theaters because it'll play out its 45 days. And then after that, it'll go into its VOD release. So if you don't have HBO Max, and you missed the movie in theaters, then you can go ahead and catch it on VOD. So Deadline had reported that Dune will be premiering at the Venice Film Festival in September, ahead of an exclusive theatrical release on October 1st. So it seems like Dune then was going to get I think the confusion in the reports is that it sounded like what they were saying is Dune's going to be the only movie on the 2021 WB slate to have its traditional in theaters only premiere / debut 45 days window. Then it goes on VOD or HBO Max. Then it was pretty quickly cleared up and shot down by Johanna Fuentes. She is they are the head of communications at Warner Media Studios and Networks Group, and wrote on their social media, Dune will premiere in theaters and on HBO Max on the same day in the US. And also the WB distribution chief, Jeff Goldstein, also stressed there was no change to the October 1st release date for Dune, and that Dune will follow the rest of the studio's 2021 slate and keep its hybrid release strategy, which is day and date to both theaters and HBO Max. I wonder where that confusion come from, and like maybe because when it was really when the announcement was made, certain language and verbiage was used, where it became a little bit confusing. It's like, oh, now it's going to get traditional, but it looks like Dune will still be simultaneously released.
And it makes sense. You know, they're still trying to hash their bets on whether or not releasing in the theaters by itself is safe. But this is definitely a movie I want to see in the theaters, because the special effects, the landscaping, just the way that they're creating this world is just so... It needs to be seen on a big screen, especially if they have it on something like IMAX or on a big screen. Yeah. That we can be able to see all of the nitty gritty details of everything that they're putting into this world.
So Marvin writes, why do you think Dune is so appealing? Do you want to go first?
Well, I mean, it's been in the fan base for a while, from the books to the... I think it was a movie and then a mini series, and there's still that hunger to try to capture the same magic that the books did for the original fans. And it's captured new audiences with the movies. So it's one of those things that is able to be kept alive, because you can tell this story over and over again. And there's still so many things that can grab an audience. And there's so many, it lends itself to be remade, because it's so creating this new world and being able to have new technology to show these fantastical scenes of certain technologies, of certain world, the way the worlds look, and also the fact that you have ginormous city-size worms.
Oh yeah, that thing is massive, and I love that we are getting kind of like the updated one. Because the first movie came out and the TV series came out so long ago. And I actually just can't wait to finally be able to see this movie in theaters, so then I can dive into the book. A lot of people suggested that because I wasn't sure, do I want to try to read the book and watch the movie and try to I don't want to force myself to rush through a dense book like Dune. So a lot of you guys have recommended that I watch the movie first, take that for what it is, and then sit down and enjoy the book at my own pace, so I can kind of digest it. And I'm also not the entire time watching the film version of Dune and comparing it to the book half the time. So that is what's been suggested to me, and I think that's what I will follow. But yeah, that is, I think, why Dune is so appealing. And it's also, let's just say you have never heard of the Dune film or the TV series or the book. I think the cast alone also is very appealing. It's a big cast, fantastic actors. The trailer looks phenomenal in this crazy, mysterious, fantastical sci-fi world that I can't wait to see. And then final topic for today, you guys. Tom Cruise and his most dangerous stunt possibly in Mission Impossible 7.
I feel like we've been saying that for quite a long time with every single stunt that that Tom Cruise does in Mission Impossible. From Mission Impossible 2, when he was climbing up that rock face 100% on his own.
Did he turn around too? And he did this?
He did that backwards hold. And I remember even seeing interviews with the director going, oh my God, I'm going to be known as the director that killed Tom Cruise. And every single stunt after that, to climbing that the skyscraper in Dubai, to hanging off of the edge of an actual airplane that is taking off in the air, kind of a thing. I'm just like, the next one is going to be his impersonation of Sandra Bullock in Gravity, where it's just, he's actually going to be jumping in space.
Exactly. It won't be green screen or blue screen. He's literally going to be in space.
It will really be him.
That's way too risky. I feel like the crew and everybody, like, just there's too much anxiety watching him do that. It's like, it's gonna look incredible, but maybe we don't need to go there. So this stunt for a MI7, they're saying that he's taking a motorcycle, riding it off the cliff, and that would be the most dangerous thing. I feel like, though, this one, like, when you take in consideration for free fall, that's where it becomes dangerous, a little bit more dangerous than like strapping yourself on an airplane, because you're strapped in and you can kind of think about like the precautions of like how to negate any sort of accidents from happening. But free fall, there's other elements like wind.
Yeah.
Wind can be a huge factor. If you distribute your weight a certain way, if you're certain this way heavy, or if you come off at just a different speed or a different angle, like your whole plan can go. You have to have like plan A through Z.
Yeah.
And then AA.
And
AB,
yeah,
AC.
so many safety precautions goes wrong, and then tragedy can hit. Yeah. The fact that every single Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise is trying to push that stunt further and further, and making it more dangerous, making it more intense.
Yes.
I'm just like, Tom Cruise, you know what you're doing. Just be careful, dude.
Just be careful. So yeah, we can't wait to dive into the next Mission Impossible 7, which I think is not even coming out until the 2022, because they had to halt production for a while because of COVID.
Everyone's
and it's a
heard
big
that video.
production. Him just yelling at the people.
Mm-hmm. There's people whose jobs are on the line.
Oh my god.
Just follow the rules.
I sleep with that at night. That's what keeps you, or whatever it was. You know, props to him for taking it super seriously. But I believe they're back in production now and working on this. Hopefully everybody is safe. I can't wait, because you're right. Every single Mission Impossible is like, what is Ethan Hunt doing this time?
And the fact is, it's like, even though he doesn't look like he's aged at all, Tom Cruise is getting older and older with every Mission Impossible. So it's one of those things of where, I mean, he's probably still in the best shape of his life.
I think the stunts keep him young. I think all the training and probably the way he eats or something.
And all of that adrenaline gets into his body and just makes his body young. That's the secret to life, ladies and gentlemen.
Perform dangerous stunts.
Perform dangerous stunts and survive.
And survive them. Well, you guys, I think that is our show for today. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We had a great time chatting with you. Don't forget to join us on Saturday for another live stream, same time, same place, except that we'll be talking spoilers for Bad Batch episode, 4 now?
Yep. Episode 4. Yeah,
episode 4. So you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We appreciate your discussions, your super chats, your inputs, everything in between, and hope you guys have a good rest